Myths about FIRE. FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. Many people are part of the FIRE movement because why not? Who doesn't want to be financially independent and be able to retire early? That was a rhetorical question because I know everyone wants to. Being financially independent is something everyone wants to achieve. What does being financially independent mean? It means having enough cash flow to cover your expenses without working. Work is optional when you're financially independent. Isn't that great? In that case, when you're financially independent, you don't necessarily need to quit your job. Still, you do have the option, and options are always nice to have. If you are stuck in a 9-to-5 job that you don't have a passion for, you would have the option to pursue different things you might enjoy. Retiring early is having enough to cover your retirement period without having to work. Many people think you can only retire once you reach around 50. But why wait until you're 50 if you can retire in your 30s or earlier instead? That's why many people are in the FIRE movement. If you want to know more about FIRE, watch the rest of our videos on the channel. Today we're going to address some misconceptions about the FIRE movement to clear the air. Welcome to Savvy, where we have lots of practical wisdom to share. Hey, don't forget to hit the like button below, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more advice here on Savvy. Today I'll share with you myths about FIRE. These are the 6 common myths on FIRE, and we'll go straight to the first one. First, FIRE is a cult. No, I'm not trying to recruit you to the FIRE cult. Well, to begin with, FIRE isn't a cult. It's understandable, however, why some people would think of it this way the first time hearing it. There's no official membership in the FIRE movement, and there isn't a leader either. There isn't a website where you can register to be an official member of the FIRE community. There are a lot of Facebook groups for FIRE. The members there are those who are pursuing FIRE. So in a way, it is a community of people working towards a common goal, but definitely not a cult. Having a lot of Facebook groups made for FIRE doesn't necessarily imply that it is a cult. There are many Facebook groups for all kinds of interests, whether for sports teams, celebrities, or the most random things. You would know if you've been sucked in the Facebook spiral, where you're going into that Facebook scrolling rabbit hole. There are also a lot of FIRE YouTubers, me being one of them. To be part of the FIRE movement, you don't need to get the permission of anyone or consult anyone else. It's really just a community you join, where everyone is kind of on their own path to achieving FIRE. Second, everyone is a minimalist. Many people think that everyone pursuing FIRE is a minimalist. People who obsess over budgets, are cheap, and don't enjoy life. If you have watched other videos or have read about FIRE, you would know that FIRE community believes in saving at least half of their income. So you would think that if everyone who's part of the FIRE movement is saving 50% of their income, they would all be living in extreme frugality. Yes, they probably live a frugal lifestyle, but not everyone identifies themselves as a minimalist. Not everyone saves 50% of their income. Some people I know save around 25 to 30% of their income, which isn't exactly extreme. I aim to save half of my income, but I own a lot of things, from my shoe collection to all my clothes and other things. The point of people who pursue FIRE isn't to cut back on everything. It's to live on less than your average, as much as possible. This doesn't mean you have to deny yourself all the joys in life and live on your necessities. You can still travel and do whatever you want as long as you keep balance. Third, number nerds. Budgeting is a necessity in your path to pursuing FIRE. Not many Americans are saving enough to be on track for early retirement, so budgeting expenses is definitely essential. This means tracking your expenses and allocating money for this and that. Budgeting and having a record of your costs will be eye-opening. You may think I did this too because I'm part of the movement, but I didn't. I tried to do it, but it left me feeling somewhat constrained. If I were out and wanted to buy a meal for myself, I would feel like I couldn't because I'd be getting scolded by my spreadsheet of where I track my expenses. It wasn't good for me mentally. This doesn't mean I just spent on whatever I wanted. Remember that balance is vital. So definitely not everyone who is part of the FIRE community is a budgeter or a number nerd, whatever you want to call it. It's still important to separate your money, like what's for saving, investing, and spending, so you can still stay on track to achieving FIRE. Fourth, cheap. Everyone who is part of the FIRE movement is cheap. They won't give you a tip and never open their own account on streaming platforms. Instead, they hang on to a friend's or a relative's. Won't ever pick up the tab, doesn't donate to a charity of any kind, and will make a cup of coffee themselves, rather than be seen paying for a cup of coffee. Nope, not everyone in the FIRE movement is like that. There's nothing wrong with doing those things. I do those things. I've been on my parents' Netflix account ever since. You do what you need to and save as much, or at least I do. The point of being part of the FIRE movement isn't to be as cheap as possible. It's mostly just living within your means and being able to save, which you can do even if you pick up the tab here and there, donate to charity, and give a little tip. You should be fine if you know how to manage your finances. It's understandable why people would have this misconception though, because a big part of FIRE is saving, and saving involves delayed gratification, basically thinking of the long term instead of just thinking about what you want now. Are you starting your FIRE journey? How's the journey been so far? Please share it with us in the comments below. Fifth, you aren't part of FIRE if you don't save 50%. I don't save 50% of my income yet. Does this make me not qualified to be part of the FIRE movement? There's no minimum or maximum savings rate for you to be part of the FIRE movement. Although people who pursue FIRE know that the goal is to save half of their income for financial independence and earlier retirement. I'm human and I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert in finances, so I make mistakes financially. Right now, I'm saving about 35% of my income, which I am incredibly proud of. What matters is that I continue to work on my goal of saving 50%. If you are starting from the very beginning and you're only able to save about 10%, then that's okay. You are still part of the FIRE community if you are pursuing financial independence and early retirement. Sixth, FIRE doesn't work. It's unrealistic, and there's no point in even considering trying it out because it just won't work. Well, it definitely won't work with that attitude. The principles in the movement are excellent and effective. FIRE gives people a goal, teaches them how to become debt-free, earn more income, save more, and makes investing simple. It gives people hope, not setting unrealistic expectations for people. That's why a lot of emphasis on pursuing FIRE isn't something you can achieve in a day, a week, a month, or even a year. It's a whole journey that needs your hard work. FIRE isn't a quick way to get rich, nor is it a shortcut. That's enough practical wisdom for today. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up below. We will be posting 4 to 5 videos per week. So click the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified of our new videos weekly. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next video.